Huh? Oh, well, hello there. I didn't notice you over there. Hey guys, Davidson here, also known as Sugar Junkie. For those new to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I would be very grateful. For those who are coming back, welcome back to my channel. You guys know what this is all about. For those of you that don't, I'm on a journey to lose 70 pounds, but I'm on a bigger journey to manage and kick my sugar and carb addiction. It's been a lifelong battle. I also suffer from binge eating disorder. It's not been an easy road. It's been a very long road. I've learned a lot about myself over the course of my 46 years on this earth. And I'm hoping that by sharing some of this, it might help some of you. So for those of you that are new here, I hope I can help you a little bit, and I hope you enjoy my content. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to talk about some very difficult things, some hard to admit things. Let's talk about my 21-day no sugar challenge for a minute. I've had a lot of people tell me, this is really hard. I don't know how you do it. It's really difficult. I'll get through a few days or a week or 2 weeks, and then that's it. I just feel like garbage and I quit. I want to let you know this is perfectly normal. It took me 7 different times, and that it could have taken a lot more, but for whatever reason for me, it caught on the 7th. I just said enough is enough. It took me 7 tries to string together 21 days without sugar or carbs. But when I got through those days, I felt like a completely different person. First couple weeks were very difficult. You're fighting against withdrawals, so you gotta remember this. Your body is gonna push back, and it's gonna make you feel like garbage. The other thing is, you're basically going into a keto lifestyle when you do this. When you do that, you no longer have a glucose supply. That's your body's energy supply. So of course, you're gonna feel terrible. Now, there's something called becoming fat adapted in keto, which means your body has to switch energy sources, and it takes time for your body to adapt to this. This can take up to 9 weeks. It doesn't mean you're gonna feel terrible for 9 weeks, but you're gonna feel your best after about 9 weeks of doing this. But I'm telling you, if you can get through those first 3 weeks, you're gonna feel different. You're gonna feel strong, you're gonna feel empowered, and you're gonna feel like maybe you even have a superpower against this thing. So maybe you say, hey, these 3 weeks are not worth it. I don't like the way I feel. I can't live my life without sugar or sweets or carbs. That sounds like a terrible lifestyle. Well, today let's talk about all the ways sugar and food addiction actually ruin your life. And you can decide which life is better. A life without being controlled by food, or a life where you actually get to keep eating all those sugar and carbs. Let's weigh them out, shall we? One, your self-esteem and your mental health. Stop me if you've heard this before. In the throes of my addiction, I would be crazily overweight. Feel terrible about myself. Look in the mirror and just be ashamed of what I saw. Thinking, how did I get here? And I beat myself up. You're such a loser. You're an adult man. You're better than this. You're stronger than this. Or are you? And then you feel weak. When you don't have control over your impulses and your urges, you feel weak. And then you beat yourself up and go into more of a spiral. This is not just me, this is very common. I'm sure you've heard this and lived this before. When you look in that mirror, your self-esteem takes a beating. This is not the person that you know or think you are. It's not the person on the inside. It's not the person you want to be. You don't have to be this person. And you're not that person, by the way. But the reality of the situation is, when you see it, you feel it. And when other people see it, they judge you. Whether that's right or wrong, and we know it's wrong, but that's the way it is. And that's what we have to deal with. And it beats up on our self-esteem. Once your self-esteem goes, this bleeds into all the other areas of your life. You don't feel good about social interactions. You don't feel good about leaving the house. I hate leaving the house when I'm obese. It feels terrible. I'm embarrassed. I have to go out in jogging pants and like some kind of shirt that I piece together. That's not fun, and it does not feel good. Is there anything worse than eating through your clothes and then not having anything to wear, and then having to do that walk of shame to the store where you're buying bigger clothes or comfortable clothes? Comfortable. You're trying to find comfort. Binge eating disorder and sugar addiction are the most uncomfortable thing in the world. When you gain enough weight, you're never comfortable, except for maybe those few seconds that you're stuffing your face and your brain is just in full addiction mode. maybe this is a less obvious one to some of you. Job and school performance. Have you gained so much weight that you actually realize it's affecting your work or your school, your studies, any of that stuff? For me, the answer is an absolute yes. I got so heavy that it was uncomfortable to sit down at my job. And eventually, I developed a habit of standing up because it was just easier. Believe it or not, maybe that sounds counterintuitive, but in the job that I'm in, sitting down with a big old torso and you're working on someone's teeth, you don't want your body up in someone's personal space. It's really uncomfortable for you and them. And it's somehow more comfortable to stand anyway. But over time, that affects your back, your arms, everything. In fact, maybe even my tennis elbow has something to do with my posture isn't so good because of my job, the way that I do my job. On top of that, who do you think is going to perform better in school? Someone who's feeding their body the proper nutrition, their body is in awesome working order, they're sleeping better, they're more hydrated, everything about them is healthier versus someone whose body is actually holding them back. Sick days. People who are obese and have more weight on them tend to take more sick days. I can back this up anecdotally with myself. I have more issues when I'm obese. I have more back issues. I have more health issues. I get sick easier. My immune system is garbage. When I'm eating healthy and I'm taking care of myself, I just feel that much better. Your body is in good enough shape to fight these things off. When you're carrying around 50, 100, 200 extra pounds, your immune system is just not in top shape. Add on to that, I'm sure over the course of my career, I've taken a couple of mental health days that totally had to do with binging and overeating and feeling horrible about myself, and then feeling like garbage the following day, like in no fit shape to work. That actually sounds terrible, but it's the truth. I don't like talking about that. I'm a grown man. I went to graduate school. I worked like crazy to get where I'm at. And still, I know in my heart that I've taken days where I shouldn't have taken those days. I mean, I understand a mental health issue day. That's totally acceptable. But it should have never got to that point. Money. Do you know how much you can spend on junk food in a week? There was a time when fast food was cheap. That time is not now. Fast food is expensive and you're paying a lot of money for garbage. And when you're binging, if you can binge the way I can binge, you're spending a lot of money. I had a friend who explained to me he went from spending, when he was binging and eating badly, $260 a week on garbage food, junk food, sweets, fast food, you name it, to $90 a week when he started eating healthy. That's a lot of money. Sorry, I'm not a math guy, okay? So he's saving $160 a week. That's a lot of money, man. That's like, that you can use that money to go on vacation, you know, put down payment on a car, whatever, but it's a lot of cash. So just one other thing to consider, you're just pouring your money out the window on your addiction. By the way, I was the same. I would eat my normal amount of food, you know, whatever we bought for groceries for the week, which is enough. Anyway, food's expensive these days. Then life number 2 would begin at around 8 or 9 p.m. at night. I'd get out, get in my car, drive to the grocery store, buy pastries, ice cream, cookies, you name it. Whatever treats I thought I deserved that night. Then I would say, well, I'm gonna have some sweets, but I also need some real food. And then I would go to McDonald's. This would be normal for me. A Big Mac, a quarter pounder with cheese, 2 large fries, and and I would just get a regular pop. But I always have this thing that I say, like, don't drink your calories. But I was so embarrassed. I was just like, I'm gonna sound like an idiot saying, give me a Big Mac, give me a quarter pounder with cheese, 2 large fries, sometimes a flurry, depending what I got at the grocery store, by the way. And McDonald's in Canada has these little mini donuts. Sometimes I get 6 of those bad boys too. So, and then a Diet Coke. It sounds kind of, that just sounds too ridiculous. And I didn't like thinking in my head what they were thinking about me. Like, come on, I'm already ordering half the store. Like, it's really gonna make a difference. On top of all this stuff, you're spending a ton of money, both metric and imperial for my American friends. You're spending a ton of money to finance your addiction. Put that money somewhere positive, somewhere else, like where you could actually use it in your life. That money really adds up. Physical health is the most obvious one of the bunch. When you're carrying a bunch of extra weight, it affects everything else. And when you lose that weight, it's really only when you lose it you realize that weight loss is almost a cure-all for just about every ill that you have. Doesn't mean it's gonna cure everything, but it's gonna make every problem that you have seem like it's a bit less. Having all that extra weight on you just exacerbates every problem. For me, I'm an asthmatic. I never really had a problem with my asthma in my adult life. Here and there, I get triggered by like cats or really bad ragweed season or something like that. But otherwise, I was fine. Up until last year when I got up to 254 pounds. Suddenly I couldn't breathe. I was like, do I have COVID? Something's wrong. My asthma's terrible. Went for asthma tests and they're like, oh yeah, your asthma's really bad. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to manage that. They put me on a daily inhaler, which I hated, and I actually stopped using and just suffered. Don't tell my doctor. So I decided, hey man, what would happen if I lost 50 pounds? Let's see if that has any effect. Spoiler alert, I barely notice my asthma now. If you go back to my early videos, it's all you gotta do. Go to my first couple of ones before I started losing weight, and you will see a person that sounds like an obese Darth Vader. It's pretty bad. About that. My only goal here at this point is to lose the actual, like the mental addiction to carbs. It'll never fully go away, by the way, but after a month it gets easier and then you can manage it. The goal here is to be able to manage it and live your life like a normal human being. Other problems for me, I normally now, if I test my blood pressure, it's like 110/60. It's very low. My blood pressure is always very low unless I gain a ton of weight. When I gained all that weight, I took a reading and it was like 135/90, which is not good. Again, don't tell my doctor. But I've checked it multiple times since, so don't worry about me. It's very low and very healthy. But it just goes to show you, putting that weight on, adding in all that food, your body is gonna stress out and it just messes with just about everything. Joint pain, I still suffer from joint pain, but I had like a generalized joint pain. I felt like my knees were gonna buckle. They would be sore when I do stairs and things like that. And I was like, maybe I'm gonna need some kind of knee surgery or something. They both feel like they're going. And again, surprise, 50 pounds later, my knees feel great. I skip, I do burpees, you've seen it, without any issue with my knees. Ankles feel better. I sometimes get tendonitis in my ankles, they feel great. The only real issue I have, which I've spoken to you about, is a little bit of tendonitis in my left elbow. But that is completely unrelated to my weight. Another one is sleep. I've harped on you guys about how important sleep is. This is the part of the video where I plug, at no financial benefit to my own, Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. It's an amazing book. It changed my whole view of how important sleep is in my life. It's one of the most mind-blowing books I've ever read. I've recommended it to some of my subscribers. I've even sent it to some of them, believe it or not. That's how much I believe in that book. It's amazing. Long story short, sleep is one of the most important things. It's as important as your diet. It's as important as your exercise program, probably more important. You don't need to do much research to see that obesity and sleep apnea are related, snoring is related, and obstruction is related. When you gain weight, when you get fat, guess where else you get fat? Your airway. Everything pushes on everything. If you've got a thick, heavy neck and chin, good luck trying to breathe while you sleep. And then good luck getting a good night's sleep. You're not gonna recharge your brain. Your brain's not gonna function as well. Your body is not gonna function as well, and everything else will just be exacerbated. I could go on and on about why carrying all that extra weight is bad for you. There's a million health reasons. You've heard probably most of them before. Heavier people are shorter lived by a large margin, and that's not just people. They could study that in any animal, and whether it's muscle or fat, by the way. But if you're carrying more body weight, your heart has to work harder, you're being exposed to more food and toxins in those food, and you are just not gonna live as long. That should cover the physical reasons why you need to get sugar addiction and food addiction under control. relationships. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever just felt so terrible about yourself you refuse to go out to public gatherings, family events, doing things with friends? When I'm in the throes of my addiction and I'm vastly overweight, I will have friends, I'll have family say, hey, we're having this family function. And I will literally make up an excuse because I'm embarrassed about myself. I don't want anyone to see me this way. Do you know how crushing that is? And then your family and friends think you don't want to spend time with them. And then they think you're a jerk. And believe me, I've dealt with this on and off. I've dealt with this on and off my whole life. Sorry, the black flies are biting. It's that time of year. So in closing, guys, I just want to ask you this. Is 21 days too much to ask for yourself to change your life, to really, really make a difference in your life? The reason that I push this 21 days so hard is because it has completely changed my life. It's like night and day. I feel like two different people. I want to just shout it from the rooftops and share this with people. If you can do this, if you can struggle, I just want other people to feel what I feel, man. It feels so good. And I just want to get people there. It's free. It's free. I'm not trying to, I'm not one of these guys who's selling you like a $300 program. I just want to get this out there because I think it can be life-changing for people. And it's so hard, but after those 3 weeks, it's so easy. And you will feel like a different person. I will leave the link for the 21-day no sugar challenge in the description below. If you're thinking about trying this, please do. Get yourself ready. I give you all kinds of tips how to do it, how to get yourself in the right mindset. Email me, ask me questions in the comments, talk to me on the Discord channel. Everyone on there is very helpful, by the way, but I'm happy to help you do this. Let me tell you this, I don't have any special superpowers. I don't have more willpower than you do. I don't have more skills at this than you do. You can do this just like I can. I'm telling you, when I'm in the throes of sugar addiction, I am as bad as anybody out there. I'm as crazy as anyone out there. Any crazy story you have in your head about food that you did, I probably did worse. So listen, if I can do this, anyone can do this. Do you want to live a life with all those negatives in it where you're a slave to your addictions? You can. Or do you want to take control of your life and live a great life, a healthy life, a better life, a happier life, a life with better relationships and higher self-esteem and more money? It's really up to you, but the good news is it's up to you. It's in your hands. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Watch my 21-day no sugar challenge video. Give me that 10 minutes. Then give yourself 3 weeks. You're worth 3 weeks. Your life and your health and your future are worth 3 weeks. And then you can have the rest of your life. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and remember, life can be so much sweeter without sugar.